Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, gonna be a match from 2021's Katowice between Stats and Rogue. Here on Deathaura, bottom right, we've got ourselves Stats. Top left, we've got Rogue. Alright, so I figured I missed Stats, and all of you miss Stats, right? Because he is in the military right now, so I figured I'd cast a Stats game versus Rogue. Two incredible players, highest elite level that you can get, and blocking off the hatch. Oh, just at the very, very last second there. Oh, Rogue. So disappointed here on Deathaura. It's a long rush distance, but apparently a probe can get here early enough to just barely block the hatch for the Zerg player. Alright, man. So he's going to play the mineral game here. We've got low ground walling off, gateway, assimilator, and Nexus. Gateway expand. Whoever came up with gateway expand is a genius because it gives you the capability of being aggressive or macro-oriented, depending on what you want to do, and everybody uses it. So, I'm not entirely sure who came up with it. Probably somebody we've never ever heard of before, because that's how this usually happens, right? Strategies, well, get popularized by popular players, but usually a strategy that gets popularized is made up by somebody we've never actually heard before, all right? All right. 16, 18, 17, Nexus, 40% complete, Cybernetics core, alright man, and then into Gateway here from Stats if he's playing Standard, and I feel like he is. Stats is a player who will beat you by going Standard, not too many surprises, but just out-executing you with very, very well-known, effective builds. So let's see how this is working out. Third base timing is coming up here for Rogue. We're about 2:20. Anywhere from 2:30 to 3 o'clock is a pretty standard time to get your third base out in this situation because, again, this Nexus is coming up, which the Overlord scouted and saw what was going on. Probe running around. And third hatch timing. I'm looking for it, and there you go. Floating up into 200 minerals. Indication that's where we're going. And 300. Let's do this thing. Bam, let's get this party started. So Adept, gonna kill a Zergling. Hey, any kills are good kills, especially at the 2-minute mark. I mean, you're not gonna win the game at 2 minutes necessarily, unless, I mean, you're cannon rushing or going for some kind of a crazy proxy, but Stargate on the way from Sats. The nice thing, you're kind of locked into going Stargate against Zerg these days, but the nice thing is you can choose whether to go Oracle, whether to go Phoenix, or Void Ray, right? Those are both viable options if you're going against a Zerg player. So what do we got? Creep spreading, cool stuff. More creep spreading the other way to connect all three of these bases. Wondrous indeed. Adept's got that one kill. Kind of poke around trying to see what's up. Did scout that the third base is coming up. We're going to call it the natural from now on, though, because that's where it is. And overall, hope you're having a good Monday. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. I'm here 5 times a week with StarCraft 2 content. It is really good stuff. I will recommend, a handful of links are moving out here. I don't know what they're planning on doing. Checking for a quick third, I guess. Which there isn't. But I will recommend the Minderic Madness game from last week. Not a lot of people watched it. And I know they're not my most popular things, but honestly, it is a Battle Cruiser Widowmine style TVZ. When's the last time you saw somebody go Mass Battle Cruiser Widowmine against a Zerg? Honestly, long time, right? So be sure to check that out. One of the players' name is Cheshire. The other one's name is like Empulus or something. There aren't enough vowels in that name for me to pronounce it, but it's definitely Cheshire. If you let me know, I'll put a link to it in the description. I know most of you people are just like, hey, just give me the pro stuff. I don't care about the lower level stuff, but honestly, it is an entertaining game. There's a Widowmine trap that is executed at around 7 minutes that is just chef's kiss beautiful. And if you're a Zerg player, maybe you want to avert your eyes during that moment, but if you're like a Terran player, you're just the happiest. You'll be the happiest you've been in a long time. All right. So Void Ray here to deal with Lings trying to mess around with this third, but there aren't enough of them to really be much of a threat. Don't worry about it, Void Ray. Just let the Lings live. They're not going to kill anything. There's like 4 of them, man. Forge on the way, going for the Twilight Council. And more Void Rays, but I don't see extra Stargates getting tossed down, so I don't think this is going to be like a mass Void Ray Zealot or mass Void Ray Adept kind of a thing. Oh, there is an Oracle out. Ah, I didn't see you come through the production tab, honestly. So this Oracle's name is OXO. Looking through old Terran articles, the Protoss learned that violence was invented with video games. The Protoss dug up human computing history, then got a version of tic-tac-toe created way back in 1952. They took the genesis of humanity's desire to kill and put it into an oracle. The problem is, there turns out there was an older version of checkers that beat out OXO by mere months. Nice. There is some sarcasm in that name for sure. So Oracle OXO's got the 1 kill, threw down the stasis, caught a couple drones in there. Not the entire mineral line, but still, not bad. Getting some value here for sure. What else is going on in the world of the world? Well, I've been watching Reacher. So a friend of mine years ago, coworker of mine who's since moved on to another company, got me kind of hooked on the Jack Reacher books by Lee Childs, and they're amazing. I mean, okay, it's not Lord of the Rings, right? It's not, I mean, it's just not like the most incredible Michael Crichton, Jurassic Parks type stuff. But it's good for what it is. It's fairly simple storytelling, but it's very fun. I like it a lot. And when they made the Jack Reacher Tom Cruise movies, I was like, dude, why are we miscasting my guy Jack here? As Lings try to get in the natural base, nah, says the Adept. That's not happening. Gonna warp in some more stuff. Oracle's poking around a bit, but this is something Rogue's aware of. He's dealing with it. So Jack Reacher, like, his physical characteristics are that he's 6'5" and huge. And he's just impossible for him to go hidden anywhere. People, like, you know, pick fights with him because he's so big. He also gets into fights on purpose because he's so big, right? So it's just such a part of his character that he's a massive dude. And they cast Tom Cruise in it. And I was like, it's not the same thing. So anyway, those movies were fine. I know people liked them. I'm not as big of a fan of it. But then they came out with Amazon paid money to do an Amazon Prime as this attempted Baneling bust, I guess. But the Void Rays came home and they're like, get out of here, man. Get on out. So Amazon actually cast someone who's like 6'2", 6'3" for this thing. And it works so much better. It just feels more like Reacher to me. And it's good. Again, it's not Lord of the Rings. It's not Arcane. But, like, the level of acting is good enough, I feel like. And the concepts, the relationships, and way things go back and forth. And some of the writing is intelligent. And there's a lot of stuff going on that you're like, oh, it is a good mystery. And wonder how they're going to resolve that. And anyway, Zerglings at the 3rd base here. Oh, no. They're going to get it. They forced the cancel. Too many Lings for that one. Well done. More Banelings over this way. Did the other Banelings go home or did they all die? Yeah, they're just all home. That's cool. I'm trying to Warp Prism Zealot his way, but Rogue is destroying all attempts at that. So Rogue's looking pretty good. He's dealing harassment on the other side while not letting the harassment destroy him on his side of the map here. Baneling rolling in. Rolling. And what? Nothing dies. Okay, that was exceptionally well defended by stats. But anyway, you know, I could recommend Reacher. I think it's good. I'm enjoying it. Anyway. We're going to make another point about it, but I think that's about it. We're done. That's my show recommendation for the week. Back to the game. So Zealots are like, fine. We can't warp in. I kind of miss Deathaura. Do you kind of miss Deathaura? Kind of miss Deathaura a little bit. A lot of good macro games on this map. A lot of fun, just fun stuff just coming through my mind as I remember different games that I cast up here. And it's good. Maybe they'll bring it back. They bring back old maps sometimes these days, right? And there's rumors that possibly we'll get a balance update after Katowice. What? That'd be insane. It would be quite insane, yes. All right, man. Zerglings pushing. Not Zerglings. Changelings pushing. Creep pushing. Rogue pushing. Different angles here. Like you do. This has got a 5th base coming up at around this 1 o'clock position on the map. 4 bases rolling for stats, looking pretty good. I mean, this is a really easy map to get 4 bases on. You don't have to do a whole lot to wall off against attacks, as we saw that Baneling attack could completely shut down. Just by like a couple warp gates here and like an adept and a cannon, you know? It didn't require a whole ton to protect this. So 4 bases pretty easy to roll with here, which is why Rogue, I think he's creep spreading like he wants to expand here. Or, I don't know, maybe up here too. This is an option, except there's a warp prism kind of making sure that doesn't happen easily. At least Interesting creep spread location here, but I guess, I mean, Overlord just throwing down creep and vision is fine. Providing their vision. The creep itself does not provide vision. The Overlord does that, to be clear. No, there's Archons here. Do not go in there, Rogue. Okay, good. He's like, oh, there's Archons. Nope. And, I mean, now that you've been seen, you're just not getting anything done either, right? Got Immortals. Got High Templar. Banelings are just not what you want here unless you're harassing workers. If there was a lot of Zealots, sure, by all means make a lot of Banelings. But the number of Zealots on the map right now is 5. Banelings are not going to be as good. You want to go into different things. Ooh, I like this 7 Infestor play. With Neural Parasite here, too. A lot of Infestor play on the channel recently. I gotta say, I'm enjoying it. Infestors, I mean, they kind of got nerfed. They got rid of Infested Terrans. Fungal was nerfed a long time ago. The Zergs just kind of decided at that stage that they were done. They're like, fine, you nerfed Infestors into the ground. We're not playing them anymore. But I think it's valid to make them. Fungal is still good, right? Anything that slows units and does damage to them is going to be great against, lower HP things. Oh my gosh, is that Changeling actually successfully part of this army? Stats! No! This is the most successful Changeling in the history of professional StarCraft. Okay, it's dead now. But that's still the most successful. We have Mutalisks? Why do we have 2 Mutalisks, Rogue? What on earth value is being provided here by your 2 Mutalisks? So in Brood War, you can do this thing where you reduce the HP on stuff really low, but not all the way. Ah! Big time engagement. Fungal's getting tossed down. Storms all over this choke too, but the Lings and Banelings are continuing to roll in. Microbial Shroud is here to deal with the air stuff. No Corruptors, just Queen with Microbial Shroud here. What the hell? Is this February 2021? This is I can't remember seeing Microbial Shroud used this early. I feel like players kind of came around to it more later on in 2021, but look at this. Rogue's using it. Rogue's looking good. Don't know. Oracle up here killing stuff nicely done, OXO. And then wasting your remaining energy on an extractor, but oh, the Cyber Core gets taken down. Further upgrades are going to be delayed. This actually, Oracle gets out. Insanely good stuff. And oh, the space is in so much trouble. These Lings, man, they got +2 attack and Adrenal. Everything here is going to die because you're worried about these Lings busting into your main base. The other Lings are way more effective. Rogue is looking good. Oh, he burrows some Lings in here too, and there's not any observers around, so just to throw up cannons to deal with them. Stats is in trouble. I mean, look, he's got a bigger bank than Rogue does, and he's also maxed out. So numerically, he's not in the worst place in the world here, but it's just not great. Rogue expanding left side, hasn't lost a hatchery yet today. His Oracle still hanging. These Queens are so ready for this Oracle to try to come back in here. There are 16 Queens on the map, and there are like 12 here. Absolutely hilarious. Creep continuing to spread. Still hasn't expanded to this high ground like I thought he would, but this is where Stats has been pressuring. So like expanding here is not exactly what you want. But yeah, the fact that, like, I talk about this all the time. Hey, Changelings are always the slow versions of the units. So it's so easy to tell what a Changeling is because it's not fast like a Zealot really is, and it's not fast like a Speedling usually is. Ultralisk smashing! Storm up Microbial Shrouds. More Storm inside the Microbial Shroud, but it is looking bad. All of a sudden, Stats pulls back a little bit here. So the Queens aren't as part of this as they want to be, but the Queens are pretty happy to just kill Interceptors at this stage. Archon's getting destroyed, so the Queens can focus solely on the air attack here. Another Microbial Shroud tossed down and then fades away into nothingness. Resources lost here are 12,000 for Stats, 11,000 for Rogue, so having more resources lost as a Protoss is not good. Overall, it's been more red in the income advantage tab over the last 7 minutes or so. Not a huge advantage most of the time, but sometimes it is. This is good. I mean, this is really good PvZ. It's Rogue versus Stats, though, honestly. Who didn't expect that? Rogue's finally giving up and going for Corruptors a little bit. I was going to say, in Brood War, so there's a spell called Plague where it's a Zerg spell like, well, it's like Fungal, except it reduces everything down to very, very low HP and sometimes down to 1 HP. And then you make a Mutalisk and you bring it in and you'll kind of one-shot splash damage, right? Bounce around and kill four things at once or 3 things at once, you know? Anyway, more Microbial Shroud is here. Void Ray's trying to deal with it. Ultralisk on the ground trying to deal. No, the Archon going to win that battle for sure, but this right side base dies again for the second time today. The ground army just not doing well, and there are enough corruptors here with transfuse support to win against these. Oh, win against these carriers. Pull back to the cannons and shield battery overcharge. Go! And that is enough to make Rogue fall back, but it's 177 to 137 supply, and it's 119 to 116, or 119, 19,000 to 16,000 resources lost in favor. Stats has lost more there. +3 air weapons coming in here from Stats now. So he's got, I don't know, he's going to have some really nice upgrades right now, but the army is 116 to 80 in favor of the Zerg, which is pretty good for him. And there's not enough to actually win the game. And Stats at this point is like, I can't engage against this army. It's too big. It's too strong at this point. Maybe if we go for a base trade, try to kill one of his bases and recall home in time to save this one, but Rogue's repositioning to defend this left side 9 o'clock base. Dude, this creep spread is sick. It is almost up to this 4th base over here. And yeah, Stats was able to get 4th base, or 4 bases pretty easily, but then Rogue's like, you're not doing anything else. You are not getting a 5th base today. And he's done a fantastic job of denying that. Dude, these creep tumors at the bottom of this ramp are absolutely brutal. Insane. All right, Zealots heading up to this 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock position. Nah, you're not doing this. Spines, not when these guys have, like, charge and they don't have any other upgrades? Oh. Well, maybe this is more easily handleable because these are Zealots with charge and no other upgrades. Yeah, okay. So 4 drones go down. A bunch of Zealots died. I don't know that that was worth it at all, but the Spines did their time, or did their job buying time, pulling the army away from this 5, 6, 7 o'clock position. Flux Feigns is going to help you all that much here, Stats. Again, you're even in supply, which is fine and everything, but, like, that's a free immortal. And a bunch of probes are... Oh, my gosh. 25 probe... What? Was there a probe transfer at the worst possible time? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, there was. Oh. Stats. I love you, Stats, but I think that's it. Zealot attack over here at the 9 o'clock is great. Very good. This Immortal doing some sneaky back and forth attacks here, right? A little bit of kiting action happening. Hatchery dead. Cool. Broodlord's on the way. Rogue not overextending, not overcommitting. And that said, he just lost the base, but he killed so many probes. 32 probes have died, and 25 of those were in the worst probe transfer of Stats' career. He's doing it again. I mean, it's not the worst now because there's not a Zerg army here, but oh, that was bad. That was extraordinarily a tough look for our guy's Stats. All right, Forward Spores coming up here for that Spore Forest play. If you don't have any Tempests with Tectonic Destabilizers to handle those spores, it's an annoyance like no other. I mean, that's why you were given Tectonic Destabilizers for your Tempest Protoss. If you don't have anything to do with the spores, you're going to have a bad time. So bring us the Broodlords in. I didn't figure that his ground... Like, his ground game didn't need a lot of work with that last battle. I thought it was more of a fact he didn't have enough to kill the carriers, but okay. I mean, it is ground army. You got some High Templar in here. You got 5 Immortals. Handful of Zealots, by that I mean 5, and now they're actually going to die up here, so never mind. That Zealot count is reduced to 2 now. Fair. Rogue coming in. Is he going to put the hammer down? Dude, he has creep all the way here. When you could fall back to your creep from this location, you're going to have a good time as a Zerg player. This is just Stats. I feel for you, man. You're getting pushed, just slowly, Zergily pushed. I mean, this base is probably dead. You really don't have enough to deal with these Broodlords. He's like, all right, fine, have that one, but I'm going to keep my newest source of income definitely alive. And, oh, nice little recall over to the right side. He says, you can have both of these bases. where am I going to go? I don't know. I'm undecided. Do I head north? I mean, these not 12 Broodlords. They're not killing everything super quickly. And yeah, Rich Vespene Geyser base goes down. Stats gets another base kill. All right. So I mean, Stats is making the best of a bad situation here, I think. But I mean, Rogue's got a 4,000 mineral, 3,500 gas bank. So like, yeah. Even if this goes incredibly poorly for Rogue, he can remax on this, and Stats can't remax on his army. So Nexus down. This Nexus is alive, but it's also incredibly mined out, so it doesn't really matter. So Stats income is not happening. Last stand for Stats. Can he win this battle? The answer seems to be the Broodlords are chopping away at the Immortals. The Queens are doing amazing stuff. Neural Parasite on enemy carriers here is functioning to a certain level as well. I mean, it's not like winning the game or anything, but it's not bad. Infestors A move charge their ways to their own deaths. 34 drones have died. Assimilation successful indeed. But you don't necessarily, yeah, it takes a lot more time to kill an assimilation successful neural parasited carrier if you don't have a corruptor ball. So again, the problem here for Stats is he doesn't have any income. He's trying to expand for the like third or fourth time over here on the right. But that income tab tells us everything that we need to know. Rogue supply block, but he's still at 183 supply. He's making some Hydras for additional DPS, because he's like, you probably don't have a lot of Storm left, right? The answer is, there are 5 High Templar out. And I'm going to see if I can find any of them and see how much energy they have. And, yeah, barely enough energy, at least on one of them, for a Storm. So Storm is still a threat. Obviously, Stats is not forgetting how important that is. That Changeling Massacre. The site of the Changeling Massacre. 2020, well, this is a 2022 cast of a 2021 game. So, whatevs. More spines on the way. Spine, 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 spine. The inject sound. I wonder who came up with the sound design for inject. It's just such a unique... A lot of Brood War StarCrafts, and both of their sounds are unique, right? You didn't pull these out of some sound library somewhere. All right, what are we looking at here? Another Changeling Massacre. Rogue is honestly just kind of chilling out. He's like, look, I have an advantage. I'm not going to face smash my way into an army that can kill me if I'm not careful. I'm relying a lot on Microbial Shroud here to not die. Without Microbial Shroud, I think he just loses. So that getting tossed down is hugely important. And Hatch, okay, Hatch sniped. And then Stats is like, it's good. That's all I wanted. Just killing a Hatch. Whoop. Skedaddling back to this base that is now under full assault by, golly, Storm. Ooh, in that low ground. Look at that. There's just not enough here. Overseers, just in case there's a mothership or Dark Templar in the mix, but I think Stats recognizes what's up. He's microing. He's storming those Hydras as well as he possibly can here. The Archons are doing some serious work. Interceptor count has been knocked all the way down to 1, though, and that's your good game. Rogue is your winner in 22 minutes and 58 seconds. Absolutely fantastic display there by Rogue, getting that win. Absolute boss of him there. And yeah, it just came down to some pretty nice engagements for him, I would say. And also getting the creep spread all the way down here. Pushing on both of these sources of income was just too much. It was just too much. Absolutely amazing. Amazing play there from Rogue overall. And I mean, Stats played it well. He had the right compositions. He had the Carriers, the Void Rays, the High Templar, the Immortals, the Archons. But the Queens with their Transfuse, plus their anti-air DPS, plus, you know, a little bit of ground DPS, plus Microbial Shroud, reducing the incoming air damage extensively. It was good. I mean, this is the more clinical uses of Microbial Shroud in a win against an Elite Protoss I've ever seen. So, well done. Rogue getting that victory. I mean, income tab tells us a large part of the story, last 10 minutes, is Rogue income. And what are we looking at here? 44 drones died, 78 probes went down, 2 Nexuses, 4 hatcheries. 2 Mutalisks. I don't know what those were for. Were they just a misclick maybe? Like a fat finger or something on the keyboard. 12 Infestors died. End of the game, we were looking at a total of 6 Infestors. So, yeah, replacing them as necessary. 8 carriers went down. 19 Archons went down, which is a huge number of Archons. 53 Zealots. 18 High Templar, too, is a big number. So, GG. And that's going to be it for me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you saw today and heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. Until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.